Hello and welcome to Colourful in the post-truth apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always, I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
Pete.
Hey.
Today we are talking about Neil Armstrong and the Alien Metal Library. That's not an alien genre type of music.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's not alien metal as such, which is a shame, because that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll explain all shortly. First, let's thank some new and returning listeners.
Do you think alien metal would make your ears bleed or something? Be like.
Probably. It's really. I'm hearing something really screechy.
It could be so powerful because their bodies could be very different to ours. They might strum a guitar or whatever their version of it is, and we just explode.
Be a bit like Slayer then. Yeah. A bit like Slayer then. Like the effect that has on me. My head wants to do that when I hear that shit.
Fractures all the bones in your body. You're like fucking jellyfish.
You might not even be able to hear it, but you feel it.
Yeah. Could be just beamed directly into your head.
You might even taste it.
You may even ejaculate. Who knows?
I saw somebody.
This gives you an ultimate orgasm, isn't it?
It's a full body orgasm.
Someone 70-odd-year-old not tasting the music, feeling the music, leaning over the barrier into the speakers the other night with the girders on. I've just come back from a festival for those listening. Yeah, and I saw him the next day. I was like, dude, you were feeling the music. He just, fist pumped me. This 70-odd-year-old. You got to be 70-odd.
Presumably because he couldn't hear a fucking word you were saying anymore.
No, yeah.
Actually, he was like 42, and
He just silver hair. He looked a bit like a really short version of Gandalf.
Yeah, he was 42. He just had a really hard life. He went to every rave possible.
Yeah, just too many E's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's thank some new returning listeners. Sofia in Bulgaria, Watala in Sri Lanka, Islamabad in Pakistan, that's a random one, Panabo in the Philippines, Fishers, Indiana in the United States, Telford in the UK, our own town, Asheville, North Carolina, Frankfurt am Main in Germany, Manlius in New York,
Nice.
Romford, UK, Ljubljana in Slovenia, Perryville, Missouri, into the top 10 now, I won't go on the entire 10, just a selection, Bangalore in India, Stevenage in the UK, Boardman, Oregon, London in the United Kingdom, Guadalajara in Spain.
No, do number 2.
Oh man, Visakhapatnam.
No.
No.
Visakhapatnam.
No. Visakhapatnam.
Oh, I suppose if you put that little accent on, it makes it a lot easier.
And just a little bit racist. Alright, so the Teos Cave and the Metal Library. These are in Ecuador in the Andes Mountains.
Nice.
No rugby teams trapped up there at this point, I'm assuming. Mysteries and legends everywhere in the world, and Neil Armstrong and many others tried to uncover this legend of giants' treasures in a library of metal books so big that one man cannot lift one. Are the secrets of the legends still guarded by native cultures? And many have tried to unearth the truth, but none have succeeded. So there are many accounts of modern day tribes that still live the way that people lived in Central America many hundreds of years ago. And these tribes are so deep in the Amazon that some of them have no idea that modern day cities, technology and modern day luxury even exist. Maybe much like the guys on North Sentinel Island.
Yeah.
Remember this part of the story because later on it will help you understand why this legend could still be secretive and hidden. And to add to that, this library was a metal library and could still be protected by a tribe that thinks of the site as sacred. Could that be true? Or could there be modern day natives protecting this sacred area from all outsiders that dare to venture into the Amazon? Now we have to look at this guy called Father Crespi.
Yep.
He looks a bit like Leech.
Looks a bit like Rasputin.
Yeah.
This weird wooden puppet doll with penises for arms and legs.
Oh my god, I didn't realise that. Yeah. I just realised.
Yeah.
I don't think
Christ.
it is. I think
It's a priest with a penis doll.
It's not. his arms and legs, but they just look a little phallic.
They do.
And the way that he's doing like a 90-degree split almost, so it looks like he's just got a big dong.
They gave him this doll because when they say show us on the doll where Father Crespi touched you, it's always a penis.
Oh dear.
He plays a big part in this story because the local tribespeople liked him and gave him artefacts as gifts. They gave him so many artefacts that his 60 years of being a missionary in Ecuador that he displayed them and opened a local museum for all to see. But what's so special about them and where did they come from? Well, most of all, it's the size of the artefacts he had. Oversized tablets, jewellery plates, doors, decorations, statues, pottery. And there is a lot more to this story than just the size of the artefacts. Some of them show pyramids similar to the pyramids found in Egypt. Some also show possible godlike figures made of gold and silver, along with other materials that he had so many artefacts that may suggest to those who are studying them, it seems like almost be a mix of cultures or an ancient people that history does not talk about.
Ancient civilization, perhaps, that hasn't been discovered.
Think about it, it's that deep in the jungle. We still haven't explored all the Amazon, clearly, because there's still tribes knocking around in there that we haven't found. You can't tell me that someone's been into every bit of the Amazon rainforests or the Andes mountains or wherever.
No.
You know, so is there every chance there has been some civilization that hasn't been discovered yet?
There's a
Or
chance.
they could have been faked.
Yeah.
Or they could all be fake. And this guy could just be a kiddie fiddlings grift artist.
He could be making them in his workshop along with his penis doll.
Many professionals came to visit Father Crespi and to view his museum. Organisations like universities, church officials, professors, archaeologists, anthropologists and many more came, and many of them had theories and they were all trying to determine where the artefacts came from. Although for Father Crespi these are the gifts from the local people he loved so much, and he spent most of his lives with the local people and they treated him in their old ways, showering him with metal gifts. But in the 1960s a fire broke out and destroyed the museum.
Aww.
And it's not like other treasure stories end there, but it's intriguing to follow the mystery of where are these lost artefacts. He was able to save most of them, and for the next 15 or so years he stored them in rooms and the hallway of his living quarters. He kept them all safe until he died in 1982. Soon after Father Crespi's death, artefacts were robbed from his home, and they didn't show up in museums, they just vanished. Many theories have been passed on in the last 30 years, but one thing is for sure, the artefacts that were given to Father Crespi seem to be gone forever.
Everything that he had just disappeared then.
Apparently. But did he have anything in the first place?
Well, this
is
is what I was about to say. They've all mysteriously disappeared. Is there anybody ever seen any of them?
Well, he had a little museum for a while, didn't he? So
So do you think, well, yes, what people have just nicked him and then...
When he died, yeah, people robbed his house and
Yeah.
All the natives took them back.
they took him back.
Like, we don't want the British turning up here and stealing all our shit. That's usually what happens.
But he didn't rob the penis doll.
Nah, he was buried with that.
Bum.
Or it could all be bollocks, it could just be tales. You know. There's no evidence. There's a few photographs of him with some weird...
Penis dolls.
Yeah, other things.
Now, in the mid-1960s, a prospector named Juan Moritz was trekking into the dangerous jungle of the Andes Mountains and made a discovery that caught the world's attention. He found an entrance to a massive cave, and intrigued by its wonders, he followed it further and further. The words he used were, an endless cave, to describe what he explored. After some length of time, he found a section of the cave that had man-made structures carved into the walls. He also described what he saw. The architecture was perfectly made on the walls and ceilings, and while admiring this section of the cave, he found the mother lode. It was a collection of gold and silver tablets, panels, books, and more. And he believed it was this was a priceless treasure. Or so, some will say a library made of gold with all the knowledge of the past.
nice.
Just for the kids of today, tablets, they were like generally made out of stone and they were carved onto. They're
And
like,
steel.
Not the tablets of today.
we're not talking about iPads and Samsungs. I just wanted to clarify that was all. What, they had them in them days, man? That is well sick.
So yeah, he mentioned that the symbols on these artefacts and books had pictures and symbols of pyramids and more. Do the artefacts sound familiar? This metal library sounds a lot like the artefacts that Father Crespi had in his collection. But how? He had his collection around the same time that Juan found the cave.
Well, there could have been more in the cave, couldn't there?
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Endless cave as well.
Yeah.
It was. Von Daniken gets involved in this. You remember Eric Von Daniken, Chariots of the Gods? He, in his follow-up, Gold of the Gods, latched onto this story. Big time. Red meat for him, fucking loved it. Tied in very nicely with his spate of lucrative books promoting his theories of lost civilizations and ancient astronauts. Or as Carl Sagan put it, Von Daniken's theory that our ancestors were dummies. Because he's obviously anything he ever made in the past was done by aliens and not the human race.
Yeah.
We couldn't have possibly done any of that. Could we? No, we're idiots. We've always been idiots,
It's
clearly.
just forgotten knowledge.
Yeah.
That's all it is, forgotten knowledge. Because there's things now that only from a couple of 100 years ago, we haven't got a fucking clue. How'd you do that? You'd have to find a historian to teach you or something like that. And even then, they're dwindling. They're dying out. And there's lots of things.
Oh, you mean like someone who's had those traditional skills and they've been passed down to them to make that stuff?
Potentially.
What's the same as a
metalsmith?
Yes,
even.
a blacksmith, for example. So someone who can make a katana with steel that's been folded 200 times.
Well, whole civilization's been wiped out by natural causes, natural disasters.
But you think, like, nowadays, general, you wouldn't be able to just go do that. You wouldn't be able to just go make yourself a sword, whereas 200 years ago, you wanted to. You could go make yourself a sword. Or you could get one.
Longer than 200 years ago.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you're
it's
saying.
within fairly recent past,
Yeah.
but knowledge gets forgotten.
Yeah.
A lot. A hell of a lot. And that's just one tiny little example.
Well, we've lost more knowledge than we've ever fucking gained, haven't we?
100%.
I mean, look at the Library of Alexandria, all of mankind's ancient knowledge stored in one wonderful library that then burnt down. How much did we lose then?
Yeah, how much knowledge is stored in the Vatican?
How much knowledge is stored in the Vatican?
Who knows? Because we don't know.
They'll never tell us.
Nope.
Yeah, and apparently the American government censors more than the Soviet Union did.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, they do nowadays, that's a
Yeah.
definite. I don't know what that's got to do with
Well, knowledge, isn't it?
knowledge. Well, alright, fair
Knowledge
enough.
being kept from the people, isn't it?
Yeah, censoring of knowledge is just as bad as forgetting knowledge,
Yeah.
isn't it? Not being allowed to receive the knowledge.
I can't wait till they start censoring, Dick Cheney from photos. I don't want to look at Dick Cheney.
He's already disappeared. Who?
Darth Cheney.
Darth Cheney. I can't wait till they start editing him out of photos and from the 1990s, early 2000s. That'd be great. The problem is with Von Daniken is that he's a liar, to put it bluntly.
An exaggerator. He even said in an interview in Playboy that he exaggerated certain things.
And the fact remains that no one's ever going to find this again. No one's ever found this cave again. Everyone that's gone, they said, it must be in the wrong cave. That's what Van Daniken said for years. There's a few other expeditions mounted. Oh, he must have got the wrong cave. Must have got the wrong cave. So now, mate, there's no fucking cave.
Well, Neil Armstrong went and had a look, didn't he?
Is it Joseph Smith, is it? From
The Mormons.
Sounds a bit like him, really, doesn't it? Oh, only I could see it. They came to me, only I could read them. I read them, then they disappeared.
So they got pictures of this cave or not?
Pictures of the cave, but there's no pictures of the metal library in the
stuff that
cave.
was found in the cave.
All the man-made structures.
No,
the cave.
nothing. It's
And we're talking in the 60s, where the last, like...
79 when Neil Armstrong
76,
went. 76,
Okay, well, there was plenty of photography equipment around then. There's no fucking excuse for that, is there? It's bullshit.
no. The guy in the 60s, he went there and he found all this stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of photography equipment in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that
No excuse not to have...
He says that he didn't take any pictures because his bulb had cracked or something.
Something
like
Yeah,
that.
whatever.
You know.
Yeah, bulb shit.
So whether you believe him or not, but he saw them, he said, but no one else has ever been able to find it since. But
Sounds
Neil
like
Armstrong
Joseph
went
Smith.
down there in
So did he go on his own
1976.
then?
Neil Armstrong?
The Austrian guy.
Oh, he was on his own.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a prospector.
You'd take someone with you just for safety, wouldn't you?
I think the
Things were
interesting
different in the 60s.
The interesting thing about this is that Neil Armstrong decides he's going to have a look at it. or for it. Why?
Because he's an adventurer himself, so...
Well, see, he had a distant relation in Scotland, a guy called Stuart Hall.
That's right.
Oh, hey, Stuart Hall, I know him well. Hey.
He was like a scientist, wasn't he?
He was, and he could basically send him a letter saying, I'm going to go and look for this ancient cave of alien knowledge. Do you want to come and have a look?
And Neil Armstrong went, yeah, right.
Pretty much. Never met the guy before, but he's like, yeah, right. But you have to love. He'd heard about Father Cresby's collection and travelled with the party to see him. It wasn't a small party either.
No.
There was like 100 people in it, and included
Yeah.
military personnel.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Other scientists.
Along with scientists. I mean, the Scottish guy flew over on an RAF plane.
No.
So, it had some backing from some government level somewhere, didn't it?
Yeah, and it was a big thing at the time. It was
What
covered
year
on the
did you
news
say
channels
this
and
was?
stuff. 1976.
Okay.
So, did they have some coordinates?
They
Yeah,
know
they-
where these caves
yeah.
are.
They know where the caves are.
But they didn't find them.
Or we'll get into it.
Right.
So, it wasn't long until people came to the realisation that points to one fact, that these artefacts must have come from a nearby area and the local tribes knew their whereabouts. Because if Father Cresby's got them and these things are pretty big, people aren't going to lug them that far, are they?
And
No.
they're going to know where they are.
And they're going to know where they are. Well, like, give them some of that shit we've got in the cave. You know what, the tribe would probably be trying to fucking get a museum or something going for years because of their location and the fact they shot all the white people with arrows. They thought, it's never going to take off. Let's give it to the old guy. Maybe.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. People started to research, and even though the village people were closed-mouthed to the location of more artefacts and where they came from, people learned of a great mystery. I've just got a vision of a fucking Indian, a construction worker, a biker, and
Cave splunking.
and a cop cave spelunking in all the gear. Let's sing the song to our ancestors to cheer us up. YMCA. Was there a cop in the village people as well? I can't remember.
Yes, there was
A policeman, an Indian, a biker, and
Cowboy?
copper, cowboy,
was it a construction worker?
construction
Could have
worker.
Depends
Any-
which film you watch, I guess.
Yeah.
Trump loves them, doesn't
Who, what, the village people?
he? He loves YMCA, doesn't he?
Who doesn't love YMCA in all fairness? Have you ever been to a party and that's come on and you haven't done the dance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You haven't lived.
you haven't lived. Anyway, these modern day village people know a great underground city that they have been protecting for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, or have they? Who can say? After further inquiry, people learned that the local people were not as friendly about this story and inquires as they thought. Those people had given the gifts to Father Cresby out of love and respect, but the local tribes didn't want outsiders to learn about the ancient site, and when Neil Armstrong and 100 soldiers and academics rock up in their town, I'm pretty sure they weren't very happy. They did learn, however, there was a massive cave system not far away. But was it the right cave system? Could this be the site where Father Cresby's artefacts came from? Well, after this large-scale hunt, Neil Armstrong's group did in fact find a cave system, and in this cave system they did find man-made structures, carved tunnels, rooms and more. And it was an exciting find. Newspapers and magazines wrote about the discoveries, and the world thought that the collection of artefacts from this lost civilization would be found. However, they didn't find that, or any of the lost treasure they were hoping to find, because let's face it, everyone's in it for the treasure.
Yeah.
The cave system is large, but many think it's been explored fairly well in the last decade, although some people believe that the cave is much larger than may have been explored. Many reports have talked about the cave going on for miles and miles versus what people are saying is only 2.5 miles long, although I guess it would be very easy to lose your bearings underground
Yeah.
and not be good with distance.
2.5 miles would feel like a fucking long tunnel.
Certainly would.
Full walking, it's still going to take you an hour to walk that. That's at full speed, and you ain't walking full speed in the pitch black, so it is going to feel like a long, long way.
Absolutely. Totally.
Sounds like a fun place to go exploring, though.
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing has been found as we speak.
Until you find a Sasquatch living in the cave, and he tears you apart because you just trespassed onto his little home.
Hey, see, it's the mountains, why the hell not?
I have to bring Sasquatch in it somehow.
But now,
No
well,
way.
certainly as in 2017, there was named Stuart Hall, wasn't it? The Scottish scientist.
Yeah.
His granddaughter is going to follow in the footsteps of his extraordinary quest to hunt for signs of aliens in the jungles of South America.
I just don't think it's aliens.
But if these tablets and books, metal books and things like that, heavier than one man can carry, why and what, how, who, where, when? Do you know what I mean? If they're, how big are they? Is there any description of the size of these books that were made out of metal with alien writing all over it?
We're talking about 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about that, what else can your mind go to other than that's not man who's done that? That's something else that's done that. Maybe it was Sasquatch.
Maybe it's their homeland.
Yep, it's like Sasquatch Mecca.
I don't know.
Only a Sasquatch can open the book and read it.
Yeah, because he's got to stick his massively oversized hand into the book that opens up.
It opens like a key. Goes a bit Indiana Jones styley.
That's apparently one of them.
Fuck me.
That's the size of a door easily.
Yeah, but that looks like very thin metal plate to me.
It does look thin, but
It looks all bent.
That's why he's been carried it out the bloody cave. He's had to bend it round himself and
maybe that's one of the.
out.
Yeah, but what you got to look at is that's maybe one of the ones they could move.
Maybe that's a page.
It's about 6 foot by 3 foot, isn't it?
Looks like the size of your average household door.
Yeah.
So is that a page or a whole book?
Well, I'm guessing that's just one of these giant stone tablets. I mean,
It's one of the tablets.
metal tablets. Sorry.
Okay.
I think if they've all disappeared, and there was a fire, I think that it was a cover up because,
Well, they've been robbed apparently.
No.
A lot of the stuff did disappear in the fire, but he managed to save a bit of it.
Anything that was metal.
Yeah. Took
Would
it back to his
survive.
home. Yeah. And then when he died, it got robbed apparently. In 1982.
I think the natives took it back.
And they done.
We gave this stuff to him because we liked him, and we don't want anyone else having it. So he's dead now. We'll have it back.
Could be that. So there
That
could
is
be.
fucked up though. If
Yeah.
there's like books that kind of size.
Yeah.
Thick metal books. If they did exist,
Yeah.
who put them there, and what was the hieroglyphs or whatever that was on them?
Well, that's the thing.
Was it just like some kind of Mayan tribe, almost one of those similar races that beyond their time in?
Not if you Eric Von Daniken, aliens did it all.
Well, yeah.
I know what you're saying. Maybe it may not have been the case they may have moved the steel in and the metal in and then engraved
done
it
there,
all
like, yeah.
on site. I think what's more interesting is that Neil Armstrong went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That baffles me because, well, why did Neil Armstrong go? It's not something Yes, he's an academic as well as an astronaut, but this isn't his field.
Maybe it was a way of bringing a little bit of publicity to his expedition to give him a bit more, maybe credibility and funds, knowing that if he's got Neil Armstrong going, the US will be like, oh yeah, we'll send some troops with him, no problem. Like, we need to protect him, he's a fucking...
National
he's a saint!
He's a national hero.
Yeah. So maybe there was an element of that in it.
I don't know, maybe. Then again, Armstrong did work as a test pilot, remember, after he'd been to the moon and everything, so...
Oh yeah, he
They're
was
all
a
test
nutter.
pilots, weren't they?
Nutter. Absolute nutter. No fear whatsoever.
Oh God, no.
I think he's got a shady look in his eye, I do.
He looks a
Neil?
bit dodgy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Neil Armstrong looks a
Yeah.
bit dodgy.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of a dodgy look about him.
I was just saying, I know I never went to the
He
moon.
looks smarmy. He looks smarmy as fuck.
Yeah, that's what
He's just been to the moon, give him this course, he's looking
You don't have to be
smarmy.
smarmy about it.
I
though.
think you do, I think you're like,
Any one of us
Okay,
in this room
guess-
can go to the moon.
guess who's
We-
going to the moon? Who's got 2 thumbs and go on the moon? This fucking guy.
Yeah, but do you know what? We know more about the moon than we know about under our own fucking ocean. And I've fucking driven a submarine under the ocean, so Neil Armstrong.
You just did a pissing contest with Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
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 Pete, how much of that ocean did you see?
None of it. No. I stood on top of it when we were coming up the River Clyde.
You know, they don't put portholes in submarines.
No. The amount of people that ask, like,
And
oh, what do you see out the windows? Like, there ain't any fucking windows. Jesus.
I think Neil Armstrong still got you pegged though in that
of course
scenario.
He has. Of course he has. But no, he does look smarmy. That's all. Like, he just...
Yeah, because he's chuffed.
He looks like he's keeping a secret. Aliens on the dark side of the moon.
Oh, maybe he's haunted by the aliens on the dark side of the moon.
That's what it is. It's a haunted look. It's not a
That's
smile.
some shit, man.
They're asking him to smile, and he's trying to smile, but he's like, "I'm too haunted. The things I've seen." I'll smile.
What you can't see is the CIA agent's gun just getting shot to the side of him. Yeah, so she's going to go again.
Well, she went, yeah, and they didn't find anything.
Not even the cave structure.
Yeah, they went down there for a bit and they found obviously the cave structure, but nothing, not this metal library.
Well, did they expect it to have reappeared in 30 years or something?
Maybe they were looking in the wrong cave.
It hasn't all been explored, you see, Pete.
It's a massive structure. Now, that's the thing. So, the one that the prospector went down, right, could have been just... He could have just stumbled across that somehow.
Yeah, it could have been a nearby entrance that they haven't seen and...
Yeah,
to a different
you don't
part
know.
of the cave.
Maybe it's overgrown since, so there's been a rock slide.
Oh, so there could have been a cave
So
in.
there could have been something there.
Yeah, maybe there was another little shoot off that had been caved in and you didn't even know it was
Because,
there.
let's face it, you probably wouldn't put all your gold treasure and big steel metal library plates just on display in the main door, would you?
It's going to be hidden right at the back.
They're gonna.
of depths
It's valuable
of
stuff.
caves.
They're gonna stick it somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe the cave systems change all the time, don't they? There's cave-ins, things get waterlogged.
Miners with
Use-
their dynamite.
Like you say, or as you say, this prospecting's didn't clear everything fucking out.
Well, that's
Got a
what
team
I
of blokes in there.
Who knows that the
Yeah.
prospector didn't just come back and nick it all?
Yeah, and he said, look, there's loads of great stuff down there, knowing that he's taking it all away.
Come here, Eric von Daniken. Let me
Oh,
tell you about these alien
I've seen it
plates.
all. It was too heavy to carry. I couldn't carry it all. But my 8 mates could, but I didn't tell them that bit.
I do find it interesting that Armstrong went, and I have a theory.
Go on.
Oh.
I think an experience on the moon with extraterrestrials caused Armstrong to become a very closet believer in ETs and wanting to try and find some actual proof.
Yeah, so he jumped at the chance.
He's heard of an alien metal library hidden in a cave.
Yeah. Back
Yeah.
up the stories I've been wanting to tell for 40 years. Or
Yeah.
And maybe they did find something, but they told the world that they found nothing.
That's it, this mission, Armstrong's mission, certainly had a military element to it.
Yeah. Why are you taking soldiers to go cave spelunking?
Exactly, yeah. I thought it was a bit OTT.
Mm.
It's not just, I've got loads
It's
of
not
money,
that,
we're going
it's-
on an expedition.
It's not so much
is
that,
it?
it's the expedition to get to these caves, going through these tribal areas that they don't know. They need protection because the amount of adventurers that went missing in the jungles and things like that because they'd either been eaten by a tiger or some, you know what I mean, or like some kind of fucking jaguar or whatever, because not tigers, because that's the wrong continent. But
Or it's to keep other people and the journalists at bay.
Well,
Well,
they-
they-
dodgy going on, they're being secretive.
Well,
they're
they take out all the
expected-
stuff and
Yeah,
transport to where they need to go, and then they
But
say,
there
look,
is-
we found nothing.
but there is reasoning for them to have.
Yeah, okay, there
The
is.
guards with
The
them.
security.
So,
but then
I
again,
understand
why...
I'm not saying this is how it is, it's just I'm offering up a theory.
Oh yeah.
Why
brilliant.
have them flown over on a UK military jet? Why have the American presumably fly Armstrong down? Well, I suppose Armstrong's a member of the military at this point. But
Maybe that was a bit of a pissing contest almost.
the soldiers were American.
Yeah.
Why weren't they Ecuadorian? Why not use local soldiers who know the terrain?
Because then they'll know too much.
Because they take all. Maybe because they know where that stuff is and they're going to take it.
Yeah, rob them off.
Well, I don't know. I
And
think,
Armstrong's like, no, I want the people to know the truth about aliens. He's been held back, and he's like, and they're like, where are you going to take this stuff anyway? It's going to be examined by top men.
And now it's,
Who? Top men. And then it's just you just see a warehouse full of crates, and it's been wheeled into that.
alien metal library stamped on the
Yeah.
side.
one big box at the back.
Yeah. Could be. Or it could be a load of bollocks.
Could be. It could have just been. Did you find anything in that cave? No, I didn't find fuck all. You boring bastard. Oh, that's not going to make a story. Next person he came to. Did you find anything in that cave?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, too big to carry though. Yeah, massive they were, huge. Yeah, I couldn't fit it in my pocket, so I had to leave it. Yeah, loads of it though.
You know what I mean? Could just be one of them.
Could be. There could have been a Timmy on board on that expedition.
But it's just dodgy as fuck. What is Neil Armstrong doing? The soldiers and shit, cave spelunking in Ecuador. He's an astronaut, isn't he?
Yeah. His degrees are like mechanical and aerodynamics and stuff like that.
That's like saying Usain Bolt couldn't play for a professional football team in Australia because he was just a sprinter. Do you know what I mean? You can still fucking have other interests.
You can. Or it could have been the aliens that he met on the moon, told him about this metal library and where to find it.
That's also a possibility.
7 years to prep the mission, I don't know, a bit long I suppose, but...
Maybe he's just been waiting for someone to go back so he can jump on it, because if he goes, it looks too... If he just phones it out of nothing, it looks dodgy.
It'll be
what are you doing that for? But if he's like, I'm just tagging along...
I've cracked it. Maybe he was like an alien insider. Maybe he's actually an alien himself. It wasn't him that came back off the moon. It was a doppelganger.
Well, that's a possibility, like the film Oblivion.
He's an alien doppelganger, and he knew the location all along because it was his race that put them there. And he was sent to make sure the party didn't find it. He made sure he didn't lead them down the right cave. He was, oh no, we don't want to turn left. No, it's this way. Yeah, I've figured it.
What was that explosion, Neil? No, nothing. He's just sealed the cave off.
Was that a cave in?
No. Right, military involvement. I think sending soldiers and flying them over in military jets to go and look at this, I think, is a bit iffy, isn't it?
Well, I just think it's a sign of involvement with governments having an interest, because if there is potentially alien artefacts, obviously there was some government backing. The Scottishman that organised it probably got some kind of funding for the expedition.
Could have done.
And
well, if there's military jets flying them over there, I'd assume that the governments are putting some money in.
Yeah.
But would they just go on a hunch like that, or...?
Well, maybe there is more to it. Maybe there is more to the Neil Armstrong connection with it.
Maybe they're the ones that robbed the stuff at that old priest's flat when he died.
The government. The American government.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they bumped him off.
Maybe they did.
Maybe be allies as we are, like, they don't mind helping and sharing a little intel now and then and things like that, so...
I can't see the US government letting that old codger get any of the artefacts in the first place if they knew about it with the Neil Armstrong moon connection and all that, like, you know.
Now, thinking about the artefacts thing was before the moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was been giving them in the 60s, or the mid-60s, that museum burned down.
Yeah, so he'd been giving them way earlier, way earlier, like Second World War prior to that, probably. Because he was an old dude, wasn't he, when he died in 1982?
You got to remember as well, they could have had alien stuff from fucking 1947 at least.
It might not be alien, it could just be ancient civilization.
Hadn't he been preaching for 60 years?
Something like that.
I think that's what it said, 60 odd years.
You've been a missionary.
So he was late 70s, 80s when he died then.
You never know in that climate though. Do you?
Well, he went 30, was he?
He wasn't 30, no, he had a big white beard.
Well, he was definitely in his 70s.
Yeah, he could have been. Yeah.
He was an old guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, but you put him. He probably started preaching before the First World War, or around that kind of period.
No, because it was 1980 something when he died. It would have been
1982.
He'd have been out there from the 50s, wouldn't he?
If he'd been preaching for 60 years.
Well, 60 years, so 30 years.
If he'd been preaching, he'd been preaching since the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was where my maths was going.
Yeah. But still, like, why are the military, or the government, or the military just so interested in what's in these caves?
Maybe it goes back to Apollo 11 then.
Yeah,
maybe
I think there's got to be some connection there, or this is our theory, there's some connection there
Maybe Armstrong saw some hieroglyphs on the moon and he's going along as an expert advisor to see if they match up.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
But there were a few bizarre accounts of the crew having potentially experienced UFOs on Apollo 11. One of these incidents occurred on the last day of the approach to the moon, and Aldrin, Armstrong and Michael Collins, the forgotten man.
Who?
Exactly.
He was the loneliest man in the world.
He was the loneliest man in the universe, in the solar system at that point, I think. The two astronauts spotted what they first assumed to be a stage of the Saturn V rocket called the SIVB. When they called to Houston to ask if that was the case, Houston told them the SIVB had been detached a while ago and was 6,000 miles away.
Oh, no way.
But you could also put that down to the sun catching it, glinting, the thing spinning.
Maybe.
That's a possibility. Although Armstrong said it was just far away enough he couldn't make out the object's shape, the other astronauts debated whether it was shaped like a cylinder or an L-shaped open book, so that's interesting.
An open book, the metal library.
Ah.
I'm not sure about that.
Another strange report claims to be a transcript between Armstrong and Aldrin witnessing extraterrestrial spacecraft and structures once they exited the lunar module Eagle.
Now on the footage it goes dark for 2 minutes, doesn't it? Cuts out.
And the radio.
And the radio. There's 2 minutes where apparently the radio cut out, and somebody apparently thinks that they recorded or heard
What they were saying.
what they were saying.
They went.
Someone else picked the transmission up,
Yeah.
and this is what was actually cut from the
See,
feed.
every astronaut had at least 2 or 3 radio channels. One direct to NASA. There'll be at least one going to a doctor. Because if you start feeling a bit weird on the moon, he's going to go, abort the mission then, isn't he?
Yeah.
Also, the effects of them monitoring their heart rates and things like that, all from the suits, and it's all being relayed back to Earth.
Apparently this is now the last conversation.
The lost conversation of Apollo 11. Those are giant things. No, that this is not an optical illusion. No one's going to believe this.
So this is when they've just landed on the moon.
Yeah. NASA, what? What the hell is happening? What's wrong with you? Apollo 11, they are here under the surface. NASA, what's there? Interference, emission interrupted interference control calling Apollo 11. Apollo 11, we saw some visitors. They were here for a while observing the instruments. NASA, repeat your last information. Apollo 11, I say that there are other spaceships. They're lined up on the other side of the crater. Apollo 11, let us send this orbiter in 625 to 5, automatic relay connected. My hands are shaking so badly I can't do anything. Film it. God, if those damn cameras have picked up anything, what then? NASA, have you picked up anything? Apollo 11, I didn't have any film at hand. 3 shots of the saucers or whatever they were ruining that film. They were ruining the film. NASA, control here. Are you on your way? Why is the uproar with the UFOs over? Apollo 11, they've landed there. They are here. There they are, and they're watching us. NASA, the mirrors, have you set them up? Apollo 11, yes, they're in the right place, but whoever made those spaceships surely can come tomorrow and remove them, over and out.
What?
That is from a ham radio operator who allegedly picked it up. There's been a few people who have come out and said very similar things with transcripts, but we can't prove it. Now all you can say is they had private channels, that maybe the one to the doctor wasn't as well encrypted, maybe it wasn't that secure, maybe it sounds like they're having communication issues according to that transcript.
Well, you know for a fact, in them days there was plenty of like your kind of pirate operated radio stations and things like that could have quite happily found ways to get into their bloody radio waves. And
Yes,
listen to their
I'm
conversations.
surprised the Russians weren't all
Monitoring.
over it. Yeah.
Probably were.
We did an episode called Lost Cosmonauts.
Yes, I was just about to say that. And these 2 Italian brothers picked up all sorts of radio signals from Russian spacecraft, some purporting to be the death of Russian cosmonauts in space. It's one of my favourite conspiracy theories, and I probably think it's true. That the Russians didn't really give too much of a shit when it came to sending people into the grinder. So like, yep, get another rocket built, send up Sergei next week. Let's see if it works this time.
Yeah. Possible.
Wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me, because they were that desperate to get the lead on the Americans, same as the Americans were that desperate to get the lead on them. And it's all to do with nuclear weapons. Whoever can get a rocket to the moon has got the best intercontinental ballistic missile to stick your warhead on top, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
It backs up Pete's point. There's a lot of amateur, what do you call them?
Amateur radio enthusiasts.
Yeah. knocking about. And especially if they know that they're going to be landing on the moon.
Well, they're all going to be on it, aren't they?
Of course they are. They know the exact time and date. They're going to be there, aren't they, listening?
Yeah.
So maybe someone did pick something up, and maybe this is what they picked
And
up.
how many of those were silenced? And then the odd
Well, just
few
they don't even need
leaked
to be
out.
silenced, do they? You just say, "Oh, is it the conspiracy theorists?" And
Oh yeah,
nonsense.
just call them a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But
Or they sent the Men in Black round.
this would explain why Neil Armstrong then, on hearing about an alien metal library, having
All over it, like
seen aliens on the moon,
having been the
Yeah.
first person to have proper contact with aliens.
Yeah.
Really, then.
could be.
That's the thing. Maybe there was hieroglyphs on these buildings he saw, and they went, you know what? We've only got one. Well, we can't send Buzz. He's too much of a live wire. We'll send Neil. He's more sensible.
We've got him trained well.
Yeah. Buzz is a live wire, though. I mean, for fuck's sake, he punched some dude a few years back for calling him a liar about going on the moon. Buzz is like in his 80s now. Punched this journalist.
Can't believe Buzz Lightyear is nearly 80.
I know.
Oh, the other one, sorry.
Aldrin.
Aldrin.
Yeah. Some just sold his soul to the devil. A guy called Buzz going to the moon.
I seen Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong Question Time, recording, when I was watching a conspiracy about whether the moon landings were totally fake. And they do look a bit sketchy on it when they're asking questions and just like, they've been given sort of rehearsed lines to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I would say to that is,
it feels off.
how
with
old
that.
was that? Was it not long after they came back?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
they would have had a script, because that technology is like top secret.
Yeah.
So they'd have been like, what they could go into and what they couldn't would have been.
Yeah, but it
Bit
just all
iffy on
felt
that.
really uncomfortable.
Well, I suppose they have just spent because remember, they didn't just get out the Eagle and just back to life. They had to spend 3 months in
Quarantine.
quarantine. So they just spent the last 3 months and a week or
There's
so.
a picture of Nixon, isn't there, in front of them, and they're in the quarantine thing waving, and Nixon's outside.
Yeah. So they've just spent 3 months with the same two guys. I'd be a bit twitchy.
Why were they in quarantine for 3 months?
Just to make sure they didn't bring anything back with them from the moon.
Yeah, it's
Surely
just
they
standard
could've-
safety precaution.
3 months, I think that's a bit long.
I don't know how long it was. Ben says 3. I don't know.
I'm sure it was I'm sure it was a bit. It was definitely
I've
Maybe
definitely
I've
seen
been-
a photograph of them in this little capsule and in this little
Nixon
quarantine
stood
capsule.
outside,
Yeah.
giving him a wave. God, he looks awkward.
Yes, my puppets have done well.
I am not a crook. Yeah, you were.
Yeah, he was.
So, all could be a load of bollocks. Could all be made up.
I like to think this is real.
I like to think this is real. Whether it is or not, I don't know, and that's the beauty of it. You can't say it is or isn't. I like to think it is. I like to think the aliens are there watching, because it's a big thing then. You've got, humans are going to go and try and land on the moon in a bit. Well, they've been keeping allegedly, if you go in for it. If you believe that all the UFO stories are true, they've been watching us since, certainly with more of an interest since we got the A-bomb. And they're like, oh, going to another planet, are they? Let's have a look. Let's have a look what they're doing.
So you think they're living on the other side of the moon, some of them, or they just watch us?
They
from
could be living
another-
inside the moon.
Or they watch us from another planet. They're just watching us and reporting back to their system or whatever.
Well, the
or-
moon could be an artificial sort of,
A scout base.
yeah, keeping an eye on us.
It is.
Some sort of Death Star.
There is a possibility it's hollow.
Mm-hmm.
Even NASA will say that. There is a possibility the moon is hollow. Because it rings.
Like a bell.
Okay.
It might be an alien moon base. Might be a Death Star. Maybe there's a moon base on the dark side of it.
Look, if you want to keep
Maybe there's
an eye on a
transporters.
planet, what better way than to hide inside of an artificial sort of looking moon that circles the planet every day,
Oh
or
yeah.
continuously.
Oh man, imagine being one of the aliens on the moon and just looking down the earth as soon as the first cities start getting lit up by electricity. Go, wow, those monkeys are onto something. They finally figured out electricity. Be like having your own Civ game,
Yeah, it would.
wouldn't it?
I was playing that the other day. Actually,
Bless you.
the original. It's a classic.
What?
Civilization.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd send, aliens down every now and then. to mix amongst us to see what we're really about.
Mutilate some cows, pro some hoes,
Yeah.
probe a redneck, mutilate a cow.
Maybe they've just got a taste for the rednecks.
Maybe.
Because they're like, they come across a bit crazy.
Maybe that's
So
why.
they're-
It's because they're like, well, no one's going to believe these fucking rednecks, so we'll abduct these thicko people. That's their intention. And I don't mean that. That's what they're seeing. I'm not saying
We're all-
that's what
We're all
actually is.
compared to the aliens, Pete. We're all thickos.
Well, that's what I mean. But
They're
they
just
see
thinking,
rednecks.
no one's going to believe Florida, man. We've seen the internet.
Yeah.
They see the rednecks and think, well, no one's going to believe them.
Right, should we call it a day and have some fucked up facts?
Yes, let's do that.
Theme tune, please.
Facts, fucked up facts, facts.
Facts.
Okay.
Right.
St Paul's Cathedral cost nearly £750,000 to build.
Ooh.
That seems fairly cheap.
Yeah.
Is that today's money?
That was in then money.
Oh right, that's quite expensive then.
What's that in today's money? Does it tell us?
Yeah, £88 million.
That still seems fairly cheap.
Yeah.
88 million.
Yeah, it's the same that it took to construct Brent Civic Centre.
Do you know what though? There's houses that go for that. There's like mansions that go for that.
It's cheap,
so
isn't it?
that's actually fairly good. I'd just buy. So if I won the Euro Millions, right, 150 million or whatever stupid amount it is,
They might-
I'm just going to put 88 million aside and go right. I'm going to build me a cathedral house.
You'd never get it built for that much, that's the point. No way.
Just buy the new one. Buy the one that's already there for 88 million. That's what it costs to make you fuckers.
Only cost 750,000. Come on, you make.
You can move all these dead heroes out the way over here too. And King, I'm not sleeping in the same room as Nelson.
Where can I stick me bathroom?
Actually, tell you what, I didn't know one at Westminster. Rather than St Paul's. I don't know, he was in St Paul's.
That is mad though, isn't it? Like, yeah, you'd never be able to build it for that cost nowadays.
Oh god, no. I mean, how much did it take to build Wembley Stadium? 200 million, something like that. And that's far less impressive than a cathedral.
Of course.
Well, most of it's just grass.
Yeah.
It's only a little bit of stand around it.
That's it.
They're only doing a ring.
Like concrete.
They're only doing a ring, aren't they? So,
All it is some seats around a field.
yeah, bloody hell. Do that with a park bench!
You just sort it out.
You can pick up mansions loads cheaper than that these days, Pete.
I know, but my point is there's like footballers and that like, live in mansions that are worth like 100 million and things like that, so,
Never.
yeah.
I'd rather have a cathedral house.
Damn right, I'm going to do it. If I win the Euro Millions, I am building a castle. But instead of a castle, it might look like a small cathedral now. I'm still going to keep the moat.
What you want is a fortress monastery.
You're building it next to Ben's pyramid.
Yeah. What, is he going to win the Euro Millions the week before?
Oh no, we can't have them fucking next to each other. It'll be a pissing contest. Who's going to have the tallest fucking monument?
Me, obviously.
Yeah, well then I'll have to keep it up. But basically, we'll just both bankrupt ourselves building giant monuments that are just massive follies.
Then when you finish building, someone could just put a flag up anyway. I'm higher!
Yeah. I'll get an extendable one. Somebody puts his flag up, I'll be like, I got my telescopic flag! Ha!
You just told me a plan.
Damn! I whispered it to Claire.
I'll just have a giant pole that reaches to space.
Alright, now we're going a bit too far.
Tethered to a balloon on the edge of the atmosphere.
What, because you befriended Elon Musk?
That's right. Because I said he can be buried in me pyramid.
How did we get onto that?
Next fucked up fact.
Cathedral, yeah.
Still cheap at half the price.
Yeah.
I'll have 3.
Before the invention of rubber
Oh
condoms,
god.
Japanese men used condoms made of tortoise shell.
What? Oh,
Wow, so they basically put in a fucking dildo
Okay.
over their dick.
That explains the pixelated penises.
But then, how would they get any pleasure?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's like hard shell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've heard of them using sheep guts before.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
I can understand that. That's like just
sheep,
putting...
Bladders,
goats'
yeah.
bladders.
Well, that's just a sausage.
And if you're not well, you should take it out the sheep first.
That's a sausage skin, isn't it? You just use a sausage skin.
Yeah, pretty
Thick
much.
sausage skin.
Just imagine saying to the wife, save the sausage skin for later, love.
Better than a crisp packet.
That's very true.
I've known people to use one.
And if you're really poor, you eat it at the end.
What? Just
Adding protein.
the sausage skin with cheese. Oh, nice. Fry it up, love it, a bit like crispy bacon.
Yeah, it's for the time, like.
That's rank.
I don't think they were so bad off they were eating sausages filled with jizz, Claire. I mean, times were tough, but I don't think they...
I know in
Unless it happened in the potato famine.
I know in ye olden days in this country we had reusable condoms and things like that. They were made from like some kind of fabric and shit, weren't they? Like
Dipped in wax or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. There was like early condoms here. I've seen it in a. I can't remember if it was a museum or on a programme.
A ye olde porn film. It was a period piece.
Yeah, it weren't no chicka wow wow.
Yeah, it was there's an orchestra behind them as they playing a symphony.
It wasn't that kind of oh wow. It was more.
He took his top hat, kept his top hat on for the fucking.
She shows her ankle a little.
Yeah, he was like, ooh.
And they danced whilst touching hands.
Then it takes him 3 hours to get her out of the various layers of petticoat she's wearing.
And then they get down to the chastity belt.
Yeah.
Oh bugger!
He blows it off with a pistol. with a muzzle loading pistols. Blows the lock off.
And shatters her pelvis.
Yeah. But he carries on like a trooper with a steel bullet. And she lies there
running away.
And she lies there and thinks of England.
Oh, I'm getting turned on. Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm joking.
It's called Downtown Abbey.
Oh shit. Downtown Abbey.
Abbey's the girl you win, obviously.
Well, but you gotta go do that at the end. It's not Downton Abbey, this is Downtown Abbey.
No, Downtown Abbey just locks it up the arse.
Sounds like my ex. Joke.
That was probably horribly misogynistic. Sorry, Claire.
Next fact.
Yeah, go on then. Before I dig myself a
What was the
political
last
grave.
one? I can't even remember what the last fact was.
The Japanese men using tortoise shells as condoms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. Tangent.
Penguins alter their accents to sound like their friends.
I see you do it!
Scottish penguins.
Yeah.
You know what, weirdly...
Penguins in the Highlands.
Have you ever had wandering accent syndrome?
What was that? What, in the sense your accent changes?
When you saw, I've had it. I've been speaking to. I was at Reading Festival back in 1999, and I was talking to these Irish people at the bar for about 3 hours. Whether or not I couldn't go to them or they couldn't go to me, either way, we kept on buying beer. And by the end of it, I found myself having an Irish tilt to my voice, and it wasn't taking a piss or I was really drunk. I just started to speak like them.
Yeah.
And it's a thing, it does happen.
I've probably had about 10 accents in my life.
There you go. So I can believe it, penguins.
Moving around, 100%. I've had a bloody Welsh accent, I've had a northern accent, southern accent, and I've had Scottish.
Next fact.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Can anyone guess what percent of the Earth's surface is built on?
Probably not that much, actually.
It's about 8% or something stupid.
8%.
I'm going to go like 4.
4.
Oh, I was thinking 3.
Claire's closest. 1%.
Oh,
right.
man.
And look how much we fucked it up with just 1%.
It's impressive, isn't it? My God, that's impressive. It's like George
Yeah.
Best and a new liver.
Does that include farmland and things like that?
No, I don't think so.
It's not built on, is it?
Exactly, so we own a lot more than that.
Basically, just think of anything that's concrete, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything that's got a road,
Yeah.
any house, any building, isn't it? Any
Yeah.
building. So, yeah, 1%. Well, that's not that bad, I suppose.
Well,
We got room for another few billion yet.
Yeah, most of the surface of the world is water anyway, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Start building loads of sea lands.
Yeah.
probably going to
I
happen.
was discussing that with somebody the other day, talking about tidal erosion and all sorts, and how people's houses are like slipping into the off the coast, and what they can't get insured. I was like, well, what are they going to do? They could have to put their house on stilts, or they can't sell the house because no one's going to want to buy it. What are they going to do?
Take it down brick by brick and move it 50 yards back.
Thing is, when
Every
they bought
10 years or something.
Yeah,
like
when
that.
they bought the house, it was like they had like 20 feet of garden.
Yeah.
And then like, 20 years later, it's like, yeah, you've only got another 6 months here.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
And 4 feet left. Oh no!
And my garden's got. You'd be gutted when you can't put your sun lounger out at the back anymore, wouldn't you?
No, but if you build yourself a sea land, you then own a bit of land and a bit of sea, wouldn't you? Well, and then it would just be that bit of sea, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
As the coast eroded.
Stilts are the way forward on those kind of situations.
Yeah, but you're going to have to put some bloody big stilts all the way down from the.
It's going to have to be them
To the
big
seabed,
concrete blocks,
yeah.
isn't it? It's not,
Yeah, I've seen pictures of French farmers like in like the 19th century or something on stilts, all of them on stilts.
Oh, because the fields
Yeah.
have to be kept wet.
Yeah. And they're doing the farming like on fucking stilts. Well, weird.
That's the French for you.
Well, yeah.
Weird people.
This is a weird fact. I'm finishing this one. Batman once had an enemy called Hatman.
Hatman.
You know what? Doesn't surprise me.
He was obsessed with stealing headwear.
Oh, I was picturing
How
that.
amazing is that?
Did you like beat him up in that? Probably.
Yeah, he just beat the shit out of him all the time, I'd imagine.
Whack! Bang! Kapow!
Put him in the modern day Batman film, get Hatman in there. Just some guy with like several different hats who Batman beats the fuck out of. Just
Some kind of Oscar Wilde kind of person.
yeah, I'm the Hatman. You'll never catch me. And then the Batman bursts in the wall.
He takes his hat off and puts it all on. You'll never catch me.
Now I'm somebody else!
And then the Batmobile bursts in the wall behind him, and Batman just strolls and starts beating the shit out of him.
Oh no, Batman foiled again! No! How did you know it was me? Lead role for me, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Who makes Batman films?
We get Tim Burton back.
Tim Burton, if you're out there, make a new Batman film, I'll be happy.
Batman versus Hatman.
I'll kick Batman's ass for a couple of mil, no problem.
Somehow I think you're going to kick Batman's
You can
ass.
beat me in the end, not a problem. No, I've got like super ninja hat powers.
But you gain the powers of every hat that you wear.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
wearing a top hat, you immediately become an expert pistol duelist.
Yeah.
You're wearing some kind of Native American headdress, all of a sudden you're a great shot with a bow and arrow.
Precisely.
So he's going to go down a very racial stereotype profile this film, isn't it?
I put on a police helmet and I'm really good at beating people up that are innocent.
Police brutality, eh?
Yeah.
This film's touching on a lot of problems in society that I don't think we should necessarily touch on in a Batman film.
Oh, society's risque, isn't it?
It is, but it's a Batman film. Let's just keep it simple.
It's for the kids.
No, it's not for the
I
kids.
do think Hatman could be a good enemy for Batman.
Not if you wear a Pope's hat, is it? It's not for the kids.
What if you put Batman's hat on?
I guess he'd become Batman.
Would he be Batman? Hatman?
I think he'd just become Batman. He'd get all of Batman's powers, which are none.
No, he hasn't got any powers.
He'd learn how to fight like a
Got bit of money in
ninja.
his pocket.
Ninja,
He's
yeah.
a ninja, remember? He's one of the best martial artists on the
I
planet.
think he's a nobody without his money.
He's one of the best martial artists on the planet, and he's a super genius.
Yeah, without his money though, he would have had nothing, would he? He wouldn't have been Batman, would he?
He only got where he was because of the money that Mummy and Daddy left.
Well, there is that. And a lot of the films are basically Batman beating up poor people who have no other choice but to resort to crime.
Yeah,
He is a
because
bit
Thomas
like-
Wayne is a billionaire. He's hoarding all the money.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like the anti Robin Hood, isn't he?
So in fact, his dad caused his own son to be a
Vigilante.
because
then-
he's hoarding all the wealth.
He beats up all the poor to feed the rich.
So let's take Batman and Robin for example. Poison Ivy wants to save the planet. What's Batman do? Gets Batgirl to beat her up.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. Freeze wants to reverse climate change. Batman beats him up.
Yeah.
It's like, no, wait, do you know how much climate change? Do you know how much Wayne Enterprises is responsible for climate change and rainforest depopulation?
The Penguin just wanted to steal the firstborn kids.
That's all he wanted to do.
Yeah, Batman beat him up.
The Joker wants to put a smile on everybody's face. Batman beats him up. But think of it. But take the supervillains out. Take the main guys out of it. Right? When they're all locked up in Arkham, what's Batman doing? He's out on the streets in the shitholes of Gotham. Right, some bloke's just stole a loaf of bread to feed his starving family. Out swoops the Dark Knight, breaks his kneecaps, now he can't work, can't pay a medical bill, he's even more in debt.
Probably just die on the street.
And if his dad
he's always crippled for life.
And if his dad just paid his taxes, he wouldn't have any problems.
Is that why his dad buffs off?
Think about the poor security guard at Lex Luthor Enterprises who's pulling an extra shift to get Christmas money, just guarding the room that Batman wants something from. Before you know it, your back's broken, can't work again. You know, you went in for overtime. You're just a guy with a family and a house and a mortgage. You just happen to work for Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
That's Superman, isn't it?
It all crosses over.
Oh, it does, yeah.
It's the same universe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all crosses over.
It's no life being a henchman, is it?
Not even just, but I'm not talking like
Yeah,
uniformed
family with
henchmen.
kids.
I'm not talking like
Snaps
goon
neck.
henchmen. I'm just talking like security guard working the gate on the warehouse or something.
He gets his neck broken.
Who gets his neck broken by Batman just because he happens to take a paycheck from Lex Luthor. He's got no knowledge of any of the evil plans. No, sorry, gotta break that guy's spine.
Yeah, it's not like he's in all the fucking...
It's not like he's in the Legion of Doom meeting, is it?
He knows fuck all. All he knows is he gets paid each week for standing at a gate for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, he opens a barrier for Mr. Luthor every now and again.
Yeah.
That's it.
Gosh.
Presses a button
It is.
to Mr.
You
Luthor,
know
you
what?
have a guest. Who is it? Let him in.
You know what? Still fucking love Batman though.
I definitely want to see Batman vs. Hatman. Who doesn't?
Me. I want to see it. I want to be in it. I want to be Hatman.
I like to think that Hatman's dressed like a French mime.
I'll do that. I don't mind.
Because I'd like to see Batman beat the fuck out of a French mime.
I don't mind wearing spandex. White and black striped spandex.
I'm
What,
not
are you joining Kiss?
I'm going to be a French mime.
And on that note,
on that bombshell.
I've been Ben. Thank you very much for listening. Don't drink the Flavour Aid and don't join a cult. Oh, and follow us on Facebook at Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse, YouTube at Apocalypse Bull, and we're on most podcasting platforms as Cutting to the Bull in the PTA, although SoundCloud is probably the best one to find us on.
I'm Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out, may the force be with you.
And I've been Claire. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Please cast me as Hatman. Come on. Let's do it. Petition.
Batman, Hatman.
I'm Hatman.
It has a ring to it.
Can't sound like Batman.
I'm Hatman.
I don't know if we'll get away with that.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
I'm Hatman. No.
No, Mr. Garrison, do Mr. Garrison. Hey, Mr. Hat. I think it sound like Mr. Garrison talking to Mr. Hat. What if Hatman's just actually got Mr. Hat?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
That could be it. Could be yeah.
We'll work on
Mr.
it.
Hat tells me to be like, criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a criminal mastermind, but you're running through the guise of little Hatman who sits on my hand.
That's the voice.
Yes, that's the voice. That's what you need to sound like. You're a Louisiana Cajun lawyer from the 1920s. That is it. That's the voice.
Get in touch.
What are we going to do today then, little Hatman? You want to go rob a bank, do you?
No, you got camp now.
Want to go rob a bank now, do you?
That's more camp. We'll get it. We'll sort it. Trust me. You hit it, you'll get it again. On that note, thanks for listening.
Bye.